When you are young, and maybe not so young, and single, and you start to notice other people as potential dating material, like, ooh, they're cute. Oh, I like their style. Oh, they're so funny. Maybe later on you might also notice their job or their house or something. But what would it mean to find someone worthy of sharing your life with, of sharing yourself with? There comes a time when you finally let a person in and let them know you and all the stuff of who you really are. Can you trust them? Can you put yourself in their hands? Can you entrust to their hands what is most precious to you, most vulnerable? And can you commit to them to do the same? That might be every parent's hope for their kid if they are to marry someone. To find someone worthy, someone who will be there for you, someone who knows you, the good and the bad, and helps you be a better version of you, someone who cares about you, someone who helps you with your dreams and your hopes and with your darkness and struggles. Our first reading talks about this. Someone you can entrust your heart to. And gives us 3 examples of things we might look for to find in someone to be worthy. The first is look for someone who works with loving hands. See how they work. At their job, sure, but also, at home or any task. Work is an act of love. To care for those in your care. All the little things you do, you don't do them because of the work, you do it because of the people you care about. Someone who works with loving hands, you can count on them to get it done. They'll take care of it. They'll take care of you. They'll be there when you need it. And they lift you up by their labor. The second thing, someone who reaches their hands out to the poor and those in need. You want to know if you can trust this person with you and your life? See how they treat someone who turns to them in need, someone that they encounter in need. See how they care for children or babies. See how they care for elderly. See how they treat a stranger or the poor. See how they treat someone in distress, someone who's hurting. You will see what kind of person they are. The third thing is to look for someone who fears the Lord. We might translate that in ways of someone who follows God's ways, who has a sense of morality, of virtue, who's honest, and also someone who's reverent, prayerful. Someone who can help you to know and follow God. And you can share that together. You find someone like that, and you yourself grow to become someone like that. You find someone you can trust then with what is most dear to you. Not just yourself, but what is most dear to you. Something I don't think a lot of young people think about, at least not at first, is what will be most dear to you. Most dear are your children. Find someone who will help care for them, raise them, mentor them, teach them, who will protect them, keep them safe. who will prepare them to become themselves. When you are looking for someone worthy, ask, is this someone that you would want your kid to rely on? And what if something were to happen to you? Who would you want to take care of your children? Who would you want to entrust them to if you could not be there? Find someone worthy. Now, you think I'm giving a homily on dating advice, but I'm actually not. You see, in the gospel today, Jesus is sharing this parable because he is looking for someone to share his life with. Jesus is looking for someone to entrust what is most precious and dear into their hands. Who can he look to entrust different things, different people, each to their ability? Look at your life. Who are the people God has entrusted into your care, into your hands? Might be members of your immediate family, but it might also be a neighbor or someone at work or a certain group of people or type of people. For whatever reason, you are called to care for them, to be there for them. How are you being called? Make sure they're okay. Make sure they have what they need. What are the roles or the responsibilities that God has entrusted into your care? It might be the kind of work you do. It might be the work you do at home. It might be the kinds of ways you contribute when you work with a team of people. Things that you do in your own unique way, your own particular way, or just the way you are. We need more of that. That's exactly what we need on our team, is someone just like you. Because you're good at that. How are you being called to share who you are and the things that you do? What are the things God has entrusted into your care? Our resources, our body, our health, our planet, your money, your home, your gadgets. How do you use these things and care for them and make them a means of caring for others? To do something good with them. God entrusts these things into our hands and also our faith, our profession of faith, our commandments, our sacramental life and prayer are put into our hands so that we might be a sign and an instrument of his presence, his love, his care for others. Now, there are many of you here who I see that you are living this out in many ways. And I see some of you here right now who are just stretched so thin, almost depleted by all the demands on you right now. So I'm not here to lay a guilt trip on you. What I want to do is invite you to grow as a partner with Jesus. Because I tell you, what he wants to share with you and entrust into your hands will be a treasure to you, more than you would have known on your own. But I do wonder if each of us, in some ways, has allowed some of this to get buried. Maybe something just got lost somewhere along the way, or under a pile of some important things, or maybe not important things. Just put on a back burner. I'll get to that later sometime. And then we forget. Time goes by. Where did it go? Maybe something in us, if you were honest, something deep in your heart, every once in a while cries out to you. Is it time now? It's time. It's time to attend to that thing, that person, that part of you that's been buried. I wonder if there are some here today who have buried something about themselves. Maybe some talent, some dream, something that they have or own, some aspect of themselves. Maybe they were afraid to share it. Maybe they were afraid to show it. Reminds me of like a grown-up who has a toy that they never got out of the box. They didn't want to get it dirty or break it, didn't want to share it, lose it, didn't want to get yelled at. They just put it on a shelf. And there it sat, year after year. Think of all the lost opportunities, a lifetime of memories could have been. What untapped potential is in you? It's not too late. I want you to imagine yourself when you will be very old. See in your mind, someone is helping you to the door of a building. And as you come inside the building, you see there are many people there. And you realize, you recognize some of these people. Some of them are family members. Some of them you haven't met yet as of this day. Some of them are people you worked with or will work with, or people that you helped in your work. Some of them are people from places where you volunteered. And some of them you haven't seen since you were a kid. They're all gathered here because it's your birthday. And they sing to you. And then some of them hug you. And one by one, they stand up. And they share some way that you impacted their life. Things you did. Things you said, times you listened, times you showed up. They share things you did when you thought it didn't make a bit of difference. Things you did when you didn't think anyone noticed. And some people start standing up to share, and you swear you've never met these people before in your life because you haven't. They are people who were helped by things you did and said, you never knew how it rippled out to them. And they share what you mean to them, what you have meant, how they were impacted. What do they say to you? What do you hope they say? Not too late to be that person, to become that person, to do those things that mean so much, to unbury what's gotten lost. Jesus shared this story, and in Matthew's gospel, we will hear the second half of this chapter next week. And then, chapter 26, it begins by saying, when he finished these words, he told his disciples, the Passover will be in 2 days, and he will be killed. His last parables. He is looking for a church who he can entrust what is most dear to him into their care, hoping that they will carry on in his place to do the things that he would have done if he were here for the people he cares about. Will you be that for him, with him? Can our parish